Is the Steam Deck worth it in 2025? Well, you've come to the right place, so let's jump straight into it. Summarize the question for the video. Yes, it is still worth to grab in 2025. I myself have the LCD version. There's the 60 hertz, 64 gig. Screen is very glossy, but there are other versions of the Steam Deck that are slightly better when it comes to the screen, slightly better when it comes to size of the storage, etc, etc. But that's for another video. I've already mentioned this in a short of mine, but it's the SteamOS. The SteamOS is superior when it comes to the handheld gaming devices in the last 5 years or so. There's obviously the ROG series where there's the Ally X, Ally, and Ally whatever. I don't know what there is. There's obviously the Lenovo Legion Go, the Lenovo Legion Go S, Logitech One. There's also the MSI Claw as well. There's so many different handhelds that are currently trying to compete, trying to master their own device or their own portable device. But the reason why Steam and Valve are still so superior is because their operating system. There's two reasons. One is because the operating system of Steam is created by Valve, which factors in quite a lot of things. It's literally the big picture on your computer, simplified and modified on the Steam Deck. And not to mention, the S Core is Linux and it can be a bit of a headache, but I'd rather have Linux and SteamOS out of the box in a vanilla-based way than having to figure out how to update my Windows on a small screen. When it comes to other handhelds in the market, you're comparing a mini computer to an actual portable gaming device that Steam have created. And that's why the Steam Deck is superior and will always be the best handheld on the market, because of the fact that it gives you that console-like experience in the user interface. It gives you that feeling and that comfort of Apple. Yes, I'm comparing this to Apple. It's more understanding from one device to another instead of figuring out Windows on a small screen. It can be a headache. Some games don't even work. Some games you have to tweak and modify to make sure it works. So if you guys want the hassle and want it the hard way, the other handhelds are for you. Whereas if you want it simplified and easy way, click download, ready to play, you could understand each game and whether you can play it or not, SteamOS is the one for you. Moving on to the next point, and the fact that I could play a majority of my Steam gaming library, the fact that I could play majority of my Steam library on the go, I can't even comprehend the fact that how that's even possible, how that's even happened. Because the Steam Deck is so well optimized and so well done because of the Valve and general ecosystem, I could play any game on the go. Simply, literally when I say any game, I mean any game in my library. It's just wild to me that I'm literally playing Assassin's Creed on the train. I'm playing Hogwarts Legacy on a plane, like Detroit Become Human on a holiday. Like, these games are very powerful, especially when it comes to your computer, when it comes to console. You still get that console-like experience, even if it's not the best supreme premium quality graphic wise. You're still getting a smooth 60. You're still getting this smooth experience in your hand. And the fact that why I love the Steam Deck so much, it reminds me of a PSP. It reminds me of a modified PSP. I've always grown up with a PSP, so see that I have all my catalog of games ready to go, ready to play on the Steam Deck is mind-boggling. This also links to my next point, and that's your catalog. All your Steam library, whether you have 10 games or 300 games like myself, you could figure out what game you want to play on the Steam. Whether if it's Mafia, whether if it's Just Cause, or if you want to play a game like Rotato or Football Manager, you guys can simply do that. I'm completing my backlog of games, and that's another point on the list, because I'm always sticking around on my PC all the time, and I've always wanted to just sit down. I just wanted to lie down on my bed or go downstairs and switch off my mind, hear what's going around me while I'm playing my game. That's what the Steam Deck has allowed me to do, those things, and just essentially switch off. That's why to me the Steam Deck is so worth it. Yes, I'm literally a gaming nerd, and I will forever be a gaming nerd. The fact that I could do that is just awesome. Shout out Valve. The last 2 points I like to mention are around customization. One of them is about the internal Steam Deck, and the other one is in fact the overall appearance of this. And that's why Valve is superior, because they think about all this other stuff that other handheld companies don't know, or don't know how to essentially experiment with. Valve have already done that all. The first customization is the fact that you could literally sort out the user interface the way you want it. You could get animation change, a CSS loader, Steam Decky. You get all these plugins to basically modify the way you want your Steam Deck to look as a user interface. Your load up screen could be completely different. I have a custom PS2 loading screen, which is awesome. And then on top of that, you could obviously modify the desktop experience the way you want it. You could obviously download every single plugin, every single launcher, Epic Games, EA, Ubisoft, and not to mention the final big boss Mafia level 1000, and that is the Emu deck. Emulator deck is literally hands down the best thing. I won't cover that in this video because there's so much about that on its own. It's wild to me that this is a thing, and this is how, just simply how amazing. Moving on to the final customization side, and that's actually the internal hard drives. That's the SSDs you can upgrade. That's the thumbsticks you could change and modify to where you want it to be looking like, as well as you could change the buttons of the X, Y, A, B colors the way you want it. The back panels and the front panels of the Steam Deck are up to you clearly. Obviously you have to watch tutorials and stuff, but it's actually pretty easy to follow and understand what you need to take out, for example, and what you need to switch out with. I know the back plate is pretty easy to do. You just have to do two things and flip it off, quite literally, and just make sure everything else connects in the back, whereas the front is a bit different. But I don't want to have the hassle at the front side. You can obviously get rebranded skins and whatnot, which I'm probably going to be copying soon, as well as getting a back plate soon. If any companies watching this, let me know. Happy to do a review, happy to do an unboxing. If you don't have a Steam Deck or you're trying to get rid of your Steam Deck, I highly recommend you guys don't. If you guys want to get a Steam Deck, I highly recommend you guys still do so. Even if it's an LCD version, the OLED version is even better, and it's only the Valve ecosystem / the Steam Deck ecosystem. If you think it's at its peak, it's gonna get miles better, just to let you know. So yeah, it's been a Waja. Subscribe already. Take care and peace.